The mass do-gooder election. You know, one of the first things that happens when you step up to be a leader, when you recognize that wrong is happening and somebody needs to step up to the plate, somebody needs to be the good guy here, what usually happens is you get shot at. There's going to be people that don't want you to stand up. Think about David and Goliath. As soon as he said, hey, who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God? What happened? What was the first thing that happened? What happened at first was his brothers started to mock him. Eliab said, I know you and the pride and the naughtiness of your heart. You came out to see the battle. Now the truth is, David wasn't in pride, but Eliab was pride. Sometimes people will accuse you of their own sin. But one thing that we need to teach our kids about leaders is it's good to be a leader, but you're going to get shot at. There's going to be people that take shots at you, but we need to understand that they are not the enemy. That's what David understood. He didn't. Do you think David could have whipped his older brother? I think so. I mean, if he was able to whip a lion and a bear and whip Goliath, he could have whipped his older brother. But he didn't engage in that fight because he knew that Eliab was not the enemy. Even though Eliab was the one shooting at him, he wasn't the enemy. Trust me on this. Usually, who's ever taking shots at you is not the enemy. Goliath was the enemy, and he understood that, and he went out and he whipped the enemy. Now, when I'm teaching kids about this concept, what I'll do is I'll get some boxing gloves like this, and this works better if you're doing this with your son versus your daughter. But you just kind of tap them. You know how you don't want to hurt your child, so you just kind of give them a little tap and see how they respond. Do it a second time and a third time until finally say, stop hitting me. And of course, your response is going to be something like, I'm not hitting you. The boxing glove is hitting you. And then hit him again and try to convince them that it's not really you hitting them, it's the boxing glove hitting them and they have no control over it. And, play that game with them a little bit and then, fess up at a certain point. But what we need to understand is when you were getting shot at, it's not the person that's shooting us. They're not the enemy. The enemy is the enemy. The devil is the enemy, and we need to keep our focus on defeating who the true enemy is in our life. Not the people that are around us, not the people that Jesus died for, but the true enemy, of course, is the devil. So keep your focus on the enemy. Realize you're going to get shot at. Don't let that bug you. Keep doing what God's called you to do.